Good afternoon and welcome. This is episode 14 of the 4x3 podcast. Nice spot of weather, almost like spring, but it is filled with a little bit of chaos. What chaos am I speaking of? Well, weather, wind, rain, hail, thunder, lightning, all the fun little things to go through during the winter period. But lately, it has been extreme. And this is in regards to the wind. The wind has reached its maximum. The wind has made us all go crazy. Anyway. So, it has been very, 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 very windy in the last week or so. To the point that my native reserve, the reserve behind me, a lot of trees and a lot of limbs have snapped off, and a lot of them have come from white gum trees. But I mean, the pine trees that have fallen down, they've fallen down as well at the base of the tree itself, while the white gum trees are falling from the branches, so the higher branches mainly, and they've been known to fall quite easily. And the wind has been so bad. Last night I couldn't sleep very well at all, and you can probably hear it right now. I am in a caravan at the moment, and the winds aren't too high at the minute, but they are pretty bad. And last night it felt like the roof of the house was trying to come off, or my solar panels. And we have a little turn, it's a spinny thing that goes on top of roofs, and I think it helps with airflow from the house out. But anyway, that was spinning and grinding and making all sorts of horrible noises. It felt like you were on a ship in the middle of the ocean, and usually I can't sleep during that period because I know trees could fall down, and I have a few trees around me that could fall nearest the house. And I don't know how chaotic that could be. And all I think of is the movie Final Destination. And then I get in such a panic. And today is no short of crazy. Went off to one of the big towns today to look for certain things. And on the way up, everything was fine, but on the way back, we seen limbs that had fallen off of trees onto the ground. So the wind was chaotic, and we were heading to another town, and it started raining heavily, and the wind was very high. It was pushing the rain underneath the wheels of the car, and shaking the car around a bit, to the point I just went, whatever, I'm turning around and going home. And one of the weird things that happened, just a coincidence, always, right? And the reason I suck about this type of thing is because I've had to deal with certain things in the past. Anyway, so a four-wheel drive was speeding up behind a car and then coming down the road, and then it slowed down, pulled over, stopped for a minute, and then it did a U-turn. And that was a country cop car. And I just found that really weird because I was going to make an attempt to go to the next town over, and it's almost as if they scared me away. But anyway, that's just something I don't need to talk about. But yeah, I tried to push on, but no thanks. I went home and that was it. Not worth my time. And apparently our phones are out of service. They're on SOS mode at the moment. If I even get to upload this for myself, I might not be able to. And the other day, it's probably a week ago now, we had lightning all night, some sort of silent, dry lightning, with thunder and rain. And I did record the sessions for that. Hang on. 2 separate occasions. One was using my new microphone and the other was not. Anyway, there was a weird instance where there was loud thunder, and this was very loud, and then during the thunder, a hurricane sounding train went by. It increased its volume from low to very high, and then by the time the train was either at the end or in the middle, I can't remember, the rain, I have the soundbite anyway, the rain came on suddenly, and it was heavy, just I think as the train was going by, and then as the train left, it died down quite dramatically, and so the timing was very odd. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, that was very weird. Anyway, I have the recording and I will play it right now. Pussy. Yeah, so very, very creepy in my mind. And the train itself sounds like a hurricane, which is very alien-like and very a howling wind, or like you're in the middle of a tornado. I don't know. It's just a weird sound that hurricanes make. But I don't know how many months this weather or wind is going to go on for. I believe it's been present since the start of winter, which you can debate when that was, either at the start of August or before that. I think it's before that, because we're coming up to September, and October is pretty much on time for spring. And it seems like since the start of winter we've had nothing but wind, little pockets of wind. The reason I say this is because I've been trying to burn piles of stuff, old wood scrap and everything, and literally I've been hesitant because it starts to get windy and I just don't want to deal with that nonsense. It's not fun. I've been watching Jackass style content, and I've downloaded the majority of Steve-O type lengthy content versus like CKY. So the raw 90s, early 2000s style filmmaking, editing, where they use like handy cams, which still looks cool as shit. But like professional cameras for the time, I guess. I still, to this day, believe that CKY probably has the best format and editing style compared to the Steve-O tapes. Even before like Jackass and all that, BAM style content was not one of the first. Tom Green and was probably the first street prankster type content that existed, where he would go on the street, talk to funny looking people and do stupid shit in the middle of the street in the cities and just act like a fucking nut. I think, Tom Green was one of the first. And then, I guess, CKY and BAM, and then Jackass crew type people. And I did end up watching one of the Big Brother skateboard, I think that's what it's called, Big Brother skateboard videos. And it's mostly skateboarding mixed in with a couple of edits of dumb shit. But I do believe that BAM came first in that stunt type crazy shit of the 90s, early 2000s. And the major reason I mention it is because, like, if anyone followed the Jackass crew versus BAM, essentially since Jackass 3 or 3D, when Ryan Dunn of CKY died in a car crash, and I had been following it for a while, BAM went off the rails and did a bunch of drugs and travelled around the world and made a band called Fuckface Unstoppable, and he just made up a bunch of dumb songs and whatnot and went off the rails almost and had his party period, and the general population didn't like it, or at least recently people don't like the new BAM, where he's now a recovering alcoholic, and fuck me, a recovering alcoholic, I guess that's the choice of words. And there was a new movie, Jackass 4, or Jackass Forever, where most of the original crew was in it, and they actually added a couple more people to come in to do some stunts and things like that. And BAM was supposed to be in it, but there was something to do with prescription drugs, which the Jackass crew or the Jackass leaders or directors and things like that didn't want BAM in it. And they used prescription drugs as this sort of ploy to make sure he wasn't in the film, but it's all politics anyway. And so the reason why I've sort of felt towards BAM and, you know, his issues is because I've been there, and people always like to punish the mentally ill. And with someone like Steve-O or Brandon Novak, which was, I believe, one of BAM's best friends in the past, Novak basically became like this sellout for rehab, which it's fine because he was addicted to the worst drugs of all, and one of them being heroin, which you have to, I think, inject into your arm. I don't know fucking anything about it, but he was extremely bad and fucked up and doing very fucked up things, not just Jackass style fucked up things, but questionable things, which, yeah, whatever. And when it comes to Steve-O, he was fucked up too, to the point where he became what Bam was recently, and it shows on camera and all sorts of things of what Steve-O was like, and he got to his lowest point in life, and now he's an advocate for recovering alcoholics. But the thing is, they speak, those who speak highly of going into rehab and things like that, they don't realize that they had been at their lowest point in their life, and they had been helped and rescued and all sorts of things like that. And to the point, I remember the Steve-O incident, he was highly on drugs, and he had to be rescued by Jackass crew members in order to make the film. But with Jackass 4, they didn't make that attempt with Bam. I mean, telling someone to do something is different to coming to their rescue, and that's what they did with Steve-O. They came to his rescue and aid and forced him to recover. Whereas with Bam, they told him, get off the prescriptions and go and, do this, this, and this. But it's not as easy as that. And I guess there's two ways of looking at it. You either force someone to do it and hope they will want to do it, or you got to let them do it on their own when they're ready. It's hard to know which one to pick. They live weird lifestyles to normal people, where if you're paying someone millions of dollars to get off their ass and fucking do something, then it's more likely that they're going to do it, I suppose. But sometimes people don't have that willpower. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is they've been given Bam a lot of shit for it, and I can relate to Bam's situation, but not entirely. I know it's hard to get out of certain situations, and basically have to have the right timing. And it's not just with addictions, but it can also relate to good health and positive thinking. And I think most of the time when I go on a positive path, it's because it happened by accident, pure luck. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Bam's pretty much seems like he's getting on his feet and doing his thing. And now get back to the main point, and not to side with one person, because they all pretty much have similar styles of editing and the way they are. And if you watch one of Steve-O's films, his low quality, what have you, where you take an old handy cam and you go on the streets and have people film you do dumb shit. If you compare the two, CKY and what's Steve-O's one? Oh, I forgot. Anyway, if you compare them, there's at least a couple, or at least one of each, that is absolutely comparable, where they're both pretty much similar. They go out on the streets and they talk to people and prank people, and then they go off and do stunts and crazy shit out in the world. They're basically comparable, but if you compare, like, I think the recent one I watched was CKY2K, and then like Steve-O's content, I guess it would be hard to compare. There's one called Steve-O's Bailout, which looks better, but the thing is, I'm trying to compare something that is basically raw content. Now, it seems like CKY2K, I believe, was using film, like 16mm film cameras, as well as skate cameras, like, I think, I don't know the model names, like HVX 2000 or something like that, where it's just for the time, it was probably like a professional camcorder to film skateboarding, and you put a fisheye lens on it and it distorts the lens and makes it look a certain way. It looked cool, and it's still probably used today to get that look as well. But to compare those two, so I'd say CKY has better content, I guess, in a way, but it's not fair to just compare like that, because there is some sort of level of higher quality in CKY that you could probably compare to Steve-O's Bailout, I think it is, where they've used slightly higher quality cameras and done things with higher production value. At least that's what I believe. But I don't know. I think a lot of good ideas have come from CKY, which influence Jackass in many ways. And then Jackass has gone and made a big series out of it. And then basically, bam, falling off the rails, and then there's no giving credit where it's due. But I don't know. Who cares? I mean, fucking hell. Everyone wants to do this type of thing. It would be cool to do, and I've wanted to do it forever. Even if it's been done before. But whatever, you know. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I've been very tired lately. It seems to happen randomly. I'll be tired for weeks at a time. And I know how to fix it. I've just got to stop staring at my phone. But hopefully one day I'll just put it down and not need it again. I've done it a couple times recently, but it seems I go back to that. And yeah, it's hard not to go on it, I suppose. And this health thing is kicking me in the butt, because I'm trying to lose 5 kilos, and for like a week or 2 weeks I've been at the same weight, and I haven't been bothered going for walks, which has probably killed my weight loss journey. Because now I just feel so tired, and I'm not forcing myself to go out for walks at the moment. Which I need to do that. I need to get up and just go for walks. And I think the dog's getting mad at me as well. But it is what it is, and I guess if I can keep that weight down and maintain it and then lose weight again, I can continue on this positive journey, and hopefully it seems to be I lose 10 kilos and then I gain it back. So whatever, we'll see what happens. But with that, I am out. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.